your mail. It's an EIN 13, and then you walk up to the station, and then you scan it, and it spits out the delivery that you got, because the UPS guy, again, didn't find the door or something. So, wait a sec. Should I cheat out something? So, what I'm spending my weekends with sometimes is like going to public barcode scanners and then fuzzing them. And this is how that looks like. So you have a few numbers, you have a few more numbers, then you end up at some point with like very dense barcodes, and SQL injection should be in here as well. Yeah, you have like special character sets, and you just go there and scan them and see what happens. So this thing actually didn't crash, quite disappointing. I also tried IKEA, because they use Interleaf 205, which is a bit more powerful. You get more digits in. And all their scanners accept almost all one-dimensional barcodes, but their application is actually well written. It's one of these MS-DOS written programs, and it actually didn't crash. So, and then we have what I call recreation attacks, which means, can I predict what the barcode is going to contain for a specific scenario that I want? If so, I can just print it out. It's that simple. So, the most obvious target is postal codes. Now, postal codes are used instead of stamps, right? So they're actually worth money. So, they use two-dimensional barcodes now because they can automate the process. Like, they don't have to have an intern like licking stamps and like pasting them on letters, but they print the barcodes on the letters and it goes a lot faster. Some of the postal systems, as we've seen in the intro, actually use different systems, but most actually use data matrix. And so I got just simple letters from companies that write me, like invoices and stuff, and decoded them and checked out like what's in there. So what can you actually verify? So this is one thing that I got. It has the Australian Post barcode over there, and I decoded it, and it is literally this line of zeros. Like, that's it. So how do you actually verify that someone paid for this letter with a bunch of zeros? Like, how do you do that? Probably not at all. So if you want to send mail in Austria, get like a bunch of zeros and put them in a barcode. They also had like real barcodes, but those were postal system barcodes and Interleaf, and they just like had nothing to do with the payment. And then we have the US postal system. This is probably going to get me in trouble. So they have this labeling system that's called intelligent mail. And I assume it got this name because the compared to the author, the system was actually written there. Not getting there. So it uses code 128 labels. And I actually found the specs on the internet. Now, literally like the doc file specs on the internet on how this works. So here you see like the how big this thing has to be and stuff. So what's in a barcode? They have the spec in a barcode. So it says, here's the zip code. Yeah, it kind of makes sense here. Where should this go? Oh, and mind you, this only works for crates and big stuff, not for small letters. So you have the zip code where it goes. You have a CIN. You have a label source. So it says like where did it came from, or what type. You have a mailer ID, which is unique, and I'm coming to that in a minute, and a unique identifier for the shipment. And you have a label type, and that is about it. I don't see any authentication. Like, I don't see any way you can prove that this is your mail or this wasn't your mail. Now, this unique identifier could be a problem because we're not able to predict it, but then in the same specs it says to maintain the uniqueness of the barcode, the data for these label types must be unique for 30 to 45 days. Mailers are asked to check with their postal service marketing representative to confirm the requirement for uniqueness. So it's absolutely random. Like, it doesn't really care. Now, on the other hand, I'm trying to get On the other hand, I compared that to another spec that at first sight has nothing to do with it. This is the Pentagon Building Security Emergency Procedures Guide that also has a guide on how to handle mail and recognize letter bombs. So it has all those things like it is foreign mail or excessive postage, or it actually has protuning wires and tinfoil. Whoever wrote that probably never built a bomb. It does not contain, you get a large shipment of a crate that has a sender ID of the Pentagon, and then in that is actually the bomb. Like, you can send pretty much everything anywhere for free, and it will be trusted because the sender ID says, like, this is the Department of Defense. Do you guys use barcodes for boarding tickets, airline boarding tickets here in the States? Yeah? Okay, you're gonna love this. So, this is the latest trend. So the security on our biggest hub, Frankfurt Main Airport, of course our capital doesn't have a large airport, relies on the boarding tickets. They don't actually have anything anymore except for the scanner that goes red or green. And if it goes green, you can go in. And if it's red, then no. The security checkpoint is central. Therefore, it's not airline specific, right? Now, on the other hand, the security, this implies that the security checkpoint may not know everyone who's already checked in, because that would mean everything else is rewired with each other. And I don't think that is the case, so the validity must be in a barcode. I fly a lot. So this is like barcodes from trips all over the place. Here's some more. So I got all those, and then I decoded them. And this is a tool I wrote myself for this barcode research, so I can like color hex dumps and stuff. So this is what I found in the barcode. It has a passenger number, it has a last name, first name, booking code, from where you're flying to where you're flying, which flight number, the day of the year, in which class you're flying, interesting, important, what seat you have, what your ticket number is, and a security check number. However, like the last row, the last column here is the security check number. Do we notice a pattern? Yes, we do. Everything else changes. Security check number stays the same. Bad. Turns out that thing is static. Now, what's really scary is the two red ones that I have in there are actually online check-in boarding passes. So you check in on the website instead of at the counter. And they don't have anything in the second column. The second column is what is called the passenger record number. And everything, like literally everything in airline security, routing, and whatnot depends on a PNR being there and correct and unique. Like all the airline software, everything works with PNR. Now, they don't have a PNR, which means we don't have any piece of information we cannot predict. So we can say from where to where we want to fly, what our name is, what flight we want to be on, what class we want to be on, and we're going to be like checked in, and they will like bring us to the gate. On the other hand, luggage tagging actually works by logically attaching a one-dimensional barcode to your trip and to you. So baggage is actually routed in the airport delivery system depending on this barcode. And with online boarding, you can actually connect any piece of luggage that you have to your boarding pass simply by dropping it off at the counter. Like when you online check in, right? You check in online, then you got a bag, like a big trolley, you go like, drop it at the counter, show them your online check-in boarding pass, and they're connected logically to your trip, which may not necessarily be yours. So here's the scenario. We have this person that is considered a potential terrorist because just he wears blankets. And then we have his boarding pass. We have this other person who strangely looks like a government official in our country, who actually has an agent and wants to make this innocent blanket-wearing person look like a real terrorist. So he actually recreates a boarding pass on the name of the other fellow and drops some luggage in with some extras, gets x-rayed, evil security finds a terrorist. This is how it works. You can totally do that. So, recommendation. I mean, they made water illegal in flights. They can actually make luggage illegal as well for security and anti-terror reasons. Because, like, the same concept as with the water is going to apply here. You buy a bottle of water before you go to the airport, it's like $1. You buy it at the airport, it's like $5. They can do that with luggage too. Like, I don't see why we should be allowed to have luggage for security reasons. There are some unsolved cases. Like, one thing that I find really interesting is this US visit immigration thing that they used to have. It kind of like no longer is in use. So for a period of time, you actually got like this huge barcode over there that looks like an enter. When you checked out of the United States, like literally when you left the country. And I decoded those, and they're like entirely crypto. And so I decoded those, and they're entirely crypto, and I decoded like a few train tickets in Germany, and they're actually done right. They actually have a crypto certificate in the 2D barcode. This is how you do it. Like, consider your barcode like a browser cookie. Whoever you give it to is gonna fuck with it. Like, if you give it to me, I'm gonna fuck with it. Let's put it this way. And so everything that people will do to their cookies, they will potentially also do to their barcodes. If you can only use one-dimensional barcodes, make really sure it is like a one-time pad. Like you draw a random number out of a non-Debian random number generator, and then you post it on whatever you want to tag, and then you have a central database where you put the stuff together, and you don't tell anyone. Do not try to put information into one-dimensional barcodes. If you have a two-dimensional, use real crypto. Like the German systems, like the railway system and everything, they have done it right. They have actual crypto on the barcode, and it may actually provide for non-repudiation in both ways anyway. And make sure your process works. Like, do not what my video store did. Make really sure that like the people cannot do something with the barcode just because you're implicitly trusted. Do not trust a printed number. I hope that was somewhat entertaining. If you have barcodes that you want to play with, generate barcodes or scan barcodes and decode them, we have on this funny URL, we have set up a wiki that contains all the decoding software that we know, and all the free decoding software and everything else, and has some war stories of people like what went wrong with barcodes, and actually people contributing content there. So it's actually pretty cool. Yeah, thank you. Right on time. Any questions? Any barcodes? No, actually the slides are not on a disk because I was like getting myself into this talk Tuesday, something. So, but I will post them up they should be up the Phenolite website. Oh, this is really funny. You're gonna love this. So, if you have seen the Port Bunny talk that I gave together with Fabs, this system is actually like the backend is the other side, like the victim system that he tested his firewall detection packet storm shit against. So the system is actually broken right now because Fabs killed it, and it's gonna be back up in a few days. Okay, thank you very much. See you at the next party.